Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a rare and unannounced visit to the Gaza Strip today. He addressed Israeli soldiers before returning to Israeli parliament in Jerusalem, where he vowed that Israel would not stop until it defeated Hamas and instead would actually escalate its ground invasion in the coming days.
We do not stop. Forget anyone who talks about stopping. We don't stop. The war continues to the end until they are finished. No less than that. And I know that you left families and that the families support you. That's a great thing. That's the strength. That's the key to victory.
He spoke during one of the most deadly days of the war so far in the Gaza Strip, with over 250 Palestinians confirmed dead in 24 hours, many of them women and children. Now, despite the intensified strikes that we're seeing and the aggressive language about how this war will continue incessantly, it also is interesting to note that the Israeli War Cabinet is discussing this Egyptian proposed ceasefire, which involves 3 phases. The first phase would be a ceasefire of 2 weeks, accompanied by a limited exchange of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jail for around 40 hostages still held in the Gaza Strip. The second phase was a little more ambitious. It involves the creation of a transitional Palestinian government to lead Gaza toward elections. And the third and final phase involves the complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from the Gaza Strip, in addition to the complete cessation of hostilities. What is interesting about this is that, of course, it sounds very ambitious. Clearly, the Israeli Prime Minister and many other ministers their rhetoric has indicated they will not accept those final 2 phases. That's directly in contradiction of their professed goals in the war. But at the same time, it's important to note that public pressure could change this. That could be public pressure over the rising death toll of Israeli troops, or importantly, it could be public pressure over the existence of these hostages, over 100 hostages that remain trapped in the Gaza Strip, where it is getting more dangerous by the day. Their families actually interrupted Netanyahu's speech in parliament. They heckled him, they called for him to do more to bring their loved ones home, and they protested in the streets of Tel Aviv in what has become known as Hostages Square because of these constant protests. Now, I'm in Bethlehem right now, where you might be able to tell, but it is a very dark and depressing scene. There is not a tourist in sight. Usually the streets are teeming with Christian pilgrims and tourists from all over the world, but the only nativity scene that you will see here today is a baby Jesus figurine being born into a pile of rubble surrounded by barbed wire. This is a tribute to the Palestinian children killed in the war so far in Gaza. As I said, all the shops are closed. This is clearly a blow to the Palestinian economy, which has already suffered after the October 7th attack on Israel. And emotionally, it's been very difficult for people here who have friends and family who are suffering in the Gaza Strip. Isabel Debre with Associated Press for CGTN in Bethlehem.